Hi, welcome to Anaprime Recap. You arrive at your city's airport and are faced with a huge horde of zombies. Your first challenge is to escape from that place alive. We are in the movie Resident Evil, Degeneration. 7 years after the events of Resident Evil 2, Claire Redfield lands at Harvardville Airport in the United States, where a demonstration by the activist group TerraSave was taking place. Claire is one of the members of this group fighting bioterrorist attacks, and when she gets off the plane, she is greeted by Ronnie and her aunt. Both are survivors of a bioterrorist attack that happened in India, in which Ronnie's parents died. While her aunt goes to get the car, Claire and the girl introduce themselves. Sitting at the reception, Ronnie reveals that she likes everyone who is part of TerraSave because they fight bad guys like Senator Ron Davis, who had approved that WillPharma, the pharmaceutical company responsible for developing the vaccine to fight the T-virus, the one that caused all the catastrophe in Resident Evil 1, should conduct research using human guinea pigs. A plane is approaching Harvardville Airport, and the stewardess gives help to a passenger who is visibly ill. The woman asks if he is all right, and the man says he urgently needs to speak with Frederick Downing, director of research at WillPharma. In the VIP lounge at the airport is the senator, who has just arrived in town, trying to hide from the activists. His secretary suggests that they leave by the front door, since no one was expecting them to do so. And so they would have a good chance of not being noticed. And that is exactly what they do. Just as they are about to get through without being seen, Ronnie points to the senator saying that this is the bandit she had seen on TV. Just then, a journalist approaches and is pushed away by one of the security guards. Just ahead, one of the activists in a zombie costume approaches, but is unmasked by Claire and arrested by a policeman guarding the airport. Next, another masked man appears. This time, the policeman himself tries to remove his costume, but is surprised to realize that this was a real zombie. He attacks the policeman, biting directly into his neck. Ronnie screams as she sees the situation and desperation sets in. One of the security guards pulls the zombie off the policeman and lands 2 shots in his chest. And to make matters worse, the man approaches to check if the policeman is still alive. And of course he would end up being bitten. The other security guard tries to intervene, but is also attacked by zombies, which come out of nowhere. Even the journalist, who was presenting a live program, is brutally attacked. In the midst of all this chaos, Claire tries to reach Ronnie and ends up bumping into a very sinister guy who we will soon find out who he is. She continues her search for the girl, when that damned senator holds her arm and asks the woman to help him. Seconds later, she spots a plane coming toward the airport. It crashes into the building, destroying everything in its path. Claire and Davis narrowly escape. When the aircraft doors open, the nightmare only increases. Dozens of zombies emerge from inside and take over the airport, including that guy who was held up by the stewardess. The airport is interdicted and hundreds of military personnel surround the site. Angela is one of them and wants at any cost to rescue the 4 survivors who are still trapped inside. But for this, she must wait for the arrival of a special agent, sent by the White House to command the operation. And that agent is none other than Leon Kennedy. Angela shows him a call made to the police station, where Claire informs him that she was hiding with 3 other people in the VIP lounge at the airport. Among the survivors were Senator Davis and the girl Ronnie. They then strategized to make it to the room without being eaten alive. Angela's plan involved taking a search team, but Leon interrupts her saying that only 3 military personnel were enough to perform the rescue. According to him, by taking more people they would run serious risks of increasing the number of infected. So Leon, Angela and Greg take the helicopter and land on the airport terrace. From there they descend towards the VIP lounge. The woman enters one of the rooms in the building and finds a man lying down. Not realizing that he is infected, she takes him by the arm and helps him up. The man turns around and tries to bite Angela's neck, but luckily Leon shows up and manages to pull her out in time. The two realize that they have ended up in a room full of zombies. With nowhere to run, Leon starts shooting them, but Angela still has the stupid idea of not killing them, even when her own life is at stake. She shoots a zombie walking towards her in the leg and is surprised to see that even after being shot, the creature is still trying to attack her. Then Greg appears and the 2 of them manage to escape from that room. The man machine guns the monsters at point-blank range, and just when he thinks he has gotten rid of them all, a zombie breaks the glass and attacks Greg. Leon shoots him in the head and reminds Greg that the only way to kill those creatures is to destroy their brains. The trio goes on with the mission, and from now on, even more on the alert. In the VIP room, the survivors are still waiting to be rescued, until they hear a man scream. Claire goes out to try to help him and in her hands, guess what, is a red and white umbrella, exactly like the one from Umbrella Corporation. She follows the corridors and meets Leon, who arrives exterminating a zombie that approaches her from behind. Along with him is the man Claire was going to save. Coincidentally, that was the senator's secretary. Now the next challenge is for everyone to get out of that place alive. They manage to take down a few monsters along the way, but while fighting the creatures, Greg is bitten and decides to stay behind so that his colleagues could escape. Just as they are about to reach the building's exit, another horde of zombies appears. Leon's idea is to take down as many as possible and leave the way clear for them to run to the door. Seeing the passage clear, the senator pushes Ronnie and runs toward the exit. While she is still lying on the ground, several creatures approach the girl. Seeing the situation, Claire rushes to help her, but the woman is unarmed, so there is not much she can do. Leon tries to reach them, but is attacked by a zombie. He throws a pistol to Claire, at which point the woman shows her true abilities. She kicks the monster in the face, grabs the gun, and in a few seconds finishes them all off. By this time the senator had already arrived at the exit of the building and was met by dozens of armed military personnel. As soon as the other survivors leave the place, the combat team enters and starts exterminating everything that moves inside. Outside the perimeter, Ronnie's aunt waits for the girl. Both are relieved to know that they are alive. Claire spots Davis and gives the bad guy a good slap in the face for putting the girl's life at risk. After performing a test to find out whether she is infected or not, Claire notices 3 trucks with the WillPharma logo arriving. While she is questioning the doctors, Frederick Downing appears and reveals that those trucks contain the T-virus vaccines. Claire believed that WillPharma was responsible for creating the virus that destroyed much of the planet, but in fact the company was working to develop an inactive antigen that would allow the population to develop antibodies against that virus. Angela questions why they didn't get the vaccine before entering the airport. If that had happened, Greg might have survived. Frederick explains that if TerraSave had not opposed the researchers' work, a large part of the population would already be vaccinated. Unexpectedly, the trucks carrying the vaccine stock explode. The military tried to contain the fire, and Frederick believes that this was also the work of the terrorists who were spreading the T-virus around the world. After being pressured by the senator, Leon reveals that these terrorists are after the biological weapon that was derived from this virus to prove that the United States government, along with the Umbrella Corporation, was involved in the bombing of Raccoon City. If this requirement was not met, the bioterrorists would spread the T-virus in all populated areas of the United States within a 4-hour period. In order to help in the search for the terrorists, Claire reports that shortly after the first infected victim appeared at the terminal, she noticed the presence of a man named Curtis Miller, who had already been arrested for threatening WillPharma. Angela, who was standing close nearby, overheard the whole conversation and says that Curtis Miller is her older brother. Not believing their brother's involvement with bioterrorism, Angela and Leon make their way toward Curtis's house. Meanwhile, Claire accompanies Frederick to his office in order to obtain more information about the virus. As they approach her brother's house, Angela realizes that something is wrong. The residence is on fire and there is no sign of Curtis inside. If the guy set fire to his own house and disappeared, there is something wrong there. Amidst the ashes, Angela finds a photo. The woman reveals that she has not heard from Curtis in 3 years, since he lost his wife and daughter in the tragedy that happened in Raccoon City. Elsewhere in the city, Frederick and Claire arrive at WillPharma. In the researcher's office, while having coffee, the man receives a call from Senator Davis, who had seen the two leaving the military base together. The senator questions why Frederick took Claire to WillPharma and tells the man not to do anything stupid because that is their chance. Yes, this conversation was indeed very suspicious. After Frederick hangs up the phone, Claire questions him about what the senator said on the call. The scientist shows her on his computer screen a new variant of the T-virus, called the G-virus, and reveals that this is a company secret, not even the government knew about it. He justifies his possession of that biological weapon by claiming that he intended to use it to produce a new vaccine. It goes on to say that Senator Davis is the only member of the government to have knowledge of that virus and that he was one of the members of the committee that decided to bomb Raccoon City. At the same moment, Claire calls Leon to inform him about everything that Frederick had revealed. The scientist tries to stop it, but is surprised to notice a server failure. He goes to check what is going on while Claire contacts Leon and asks him to go to WillPharma. Just then, the phone in the room rings and Claire answers it. Frederick reports that he saw a suspicious man leaving the security room and followed him. He asks Claire to get out of there because a time bomb had been installed and it was too late to deactivate it. He further says that it was possible that another biological disaster would happen. Claire was looking out the window and saw Curtis coming out of the security room with a briefcase in hand. Seconds later, the bomb explodes and Leon loses contact with it. The woman wakes up among the rubble with a shard of glass piercing her leg. Looking around, she realizes that the entire building has been destroyed. Shortly after, Leon and Angela arrive on the scene. They split up to look for Claire and arrange to meet in the inner garden. Leon finds Claire, who was walking with the help of a piece of wood due to the injury on her leg. He shows her the way to the exit and sets off in search of Angela, who, while walking through the garden wreckage, finds her brother, who had injected himself with the G-virus. He explains that he could not let the government get away with this after it bombed Raccoon City with nuclear weapons, resulting in the deaths of over 100,000 people. Soon the army arrives and Curtis begins his transformation. He acquires a bizarre appearance, different from all the other zombies infected by the T-virus. The military fire hundreds of shots at him, but nothing happens. Curtis then takes off on the soldiers and exterminates almost all of them. After this, the monster walks towards Angela. Leon arrives just in time and, with the help of his gun, drops a platform on top of the creature. Then a shower of ethanol is released and an electronic voice informs them that the entire building will be incinerated in just 5 minutes. In an attempt to escape, the surviving servicemen get into an elevator that will take them to the top floor. Angela and Leon stay behind and intend to take the next elevator, but Curtis rises from the rubble. Now more monstrous than ever. The guy had lost any trace of humanity. He knocks down the elevator with all the military inside and goes after Angela, but Leon once again appears to save her. The man stabs a knife into the creature's eye and they both manage to escape. With only 1 second to go before the incineration begins, they dive into the water. The entire place is completely destroyed, and the couple narrowly escapes. Leon shoots the glass and they are carried downstream. Angela attaches herself to a wall and holds his hand. Just when they think they are safe, that monstrous creature appears again, throws Leon away, and corners Angela. The protagonist falls onto a platform that is about to collapse, but he manages to get out of there in time and even rescues his partner, who almost gets knocked down along with another platform. However, the monster has not yet given up on killing them. He clings to Angela's feet with his macabre tail. His goal is to drive them both into the abyss. But before it's too late, Leon pulls out his gun and blows the head off that gruesome monster. When Claire arrives outside the building, she spots Senator Davis descending from a military helicopter. She accuses him of having a hand in bioterrorism, but the man says he has never heard of the existence of the G-virus. Just then, Leon and Angela appear and reveal to Claire that Frederick had deceived everyone, including Senator Davis himself. The scientist was the one who caused the explosion at WillPharma and was planning to make off with the last samples of the T-virus and its vaccine, but he is tracked by the police and the trio manages to arrest him before he could sell them to a certain General Grande who, together with Frederick, was responsible for supplying the T-virus to terrorists in India. After solving that case that would put the future of humanity at risk, the 3 agents say goodbye and each one goes their separate ways, awaiting the next battle against bioterrorism. Could they really put an end to the T-virus this time? What would you do to survive these attacks by hordes of infected? So what did you think of this movie? Leave it in the comments below. And if you liked the video, please like and subscribe for more movie recaps. See you next time.